Okay, YouTube subscribers, so the project for today is going to be a couple of new fenders for this front end loader. And these are the old fenders that I'm going to be replacing. They're rusted, they could be cleaned up, but it's not even really worth it. I got some extra steel from this tank project that I walked you through, so I'm going to whip up a couple of new fenders today. That the writing on there, the labeling, that wasn't me that wrote that on there. That was Frankie. Obviously he can't spell very well but he's a hell of a worker and a real hell of a snowplow operator. It's a shame that we can't get him to actually have any interest in running a dozer in the summer, because he'd be a heck of an operator on a dozer. But anyway, we're gonna cut some steel up and make some new fenders. So what I've did here is I've laid everything out. I'm actually short a couple pieces. I'll have to cut a couple more pieces too, but I've laid out most of what we need here for the fender, and we're going to fire the plasma up and cut these babies up. Okay, so that's one fender right there, short of, what's the pieces here? That's one fender short of these two strips here. So I'm going to cut out the next fender right now so I can get to these two strips, and then I'll start showing you how we put it together. Okay, so what I've done, I've taken one of these long strips that I cut out, and I've just held it up here and just kind of eyeballed it. Made a mark there and there for the two angles. I'm going to buzz those off. Doesn't really matter where they are, because the next piece I'm going to cut for this section here, I'll make that angle correspond with that right there. Okay, so what I've did here, I've ground off what little bit of slag there is from the plasma cutter. And I can't say enough about a plasma cutter. I mean, it just saves so much time. Those cuts that I just did, that was real time. That wasn't, you know, speeding up the camera or editing or whatever. I mean, I can't imagine doing this type of stuff without a plasma. I actually have, you know, before I had the plasma, I'd use the zip wheels and Sawzall and, you know, torches, whatever. The plasma just saves so much time. So anyway, I've fit these things up. You can see basically how it goes. There's a plate right here, and that's actually a separate plate from the factory too, so I'll weld that in after. And that'll be a lap. You know, that'll be a lap over the back. I won't actually have to cut these exact angles out. Otherwise, I would have just did 45s on these. But so what I'm going to do now, I'm going to bring this over to the bench over there, and I'm actually going to mark these out for the other end, for the other side, and for the other fender. You know, this will be my template. I'll mark them out. Now, a little trick here. I got my pattern. If you really want a more accurate cut, you're better off using a scribe. You're better off using a scribe than to use the marker, because obviously there's a lot of, you know, the marker will give you 1/8 of an inch wide line, and this will give you a pinpoint line to cut off of. So let me get those cut out, and we'll see how this thing goes together. Okay, so here we have it. We got our pieces all cut. I've beveled each one. Got them clamped down here. We're going to weld them up. Okay, so now that we've got the front welded and clamped, where did it go here? Somewhere here. Anyway, now we got to get these holes in place before we go any further. So I'm going to do a little lazy man's trick, and I'll show you how it works. Basically what I'm going to do is take my plasma, blow out each hole through there. It won't give me the right size diameter. It'll be a little bit of a rough looking hole, but I blow out the middle, and then I just chase it out with a step bit. Saves a lot of time, a lot of work. Okay, so now we've got our holes blown through. We've chased them out to the correct diameter with our step bit. So now we're going to take these pieces here, line it up with this bracket that we've already got welded together, and weld this bracket together. And this will be the front of the fender, the front lip, which won't need holes in it. So there you have it. It's all tacked up. Now I'll weld all these seams up. I'll be throwing a gusset in here, a gusset underneath here, and a couple of braces coming down once it's all welded up here. And you'll have a new fender. And there you have it, one new fender. I got to get a little more of this mill slag off of here. My disc is actually, my flapper disc is getting a little dull here. I'm going to have to get a new one. And the reason for that is, in case you don't know and you're doing a project like this, the paint won't adhere very good to the mill slag. Eventually the mill slag will come off and take the paint with it. But that's it. That's the new fender. There's the bottom. As you can see, braces welded in. Good to go.